Today I'm going to do some nice little treat for everyone out there. It's a chocolate mousse, very simple to do, 2 ingredients. So thanks for coming and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to do a mixture of dark chocolate and plain chocolate. You can use any chocolate you want. You need 100 grams of chocolate and you need 4 eggs. We're going to separate the eggs, so I have a separator, and we need a spoon, a mixer, and this is our bowl. Now you can also melt the chocolate in the microwave, but I find I prefer it over the saucepan, simmering with water. Don't let the water touch the end of the bowl, make sure it's the steam touching it only. We need 100 grams of chocolate, so I'm using a dairy milk and a dark, so that's 100, half and half. I break these up. The smaller the pieces, the quicker it'll melt. Again, it depends on what chocolate you'd like. This is 2 ingredients. We're using eggs and chocolate. If you want to make it dairy free, just make sure that your chocolate you're using is dairy free. This is gluten free. It can suit most paleo diets. Again, depends on the chocolate you put in for that as well. As you can see, the steam's starting to come out. We don't want it to overburn the chocolate, so keep it low. Then we go back over here and we start separating our eggs. I have this because I'm a disaster at separating eggs, and even with this I'll make a boo-boo. So we're going to take 4 eggs. So this is the first. 1. You can see the white, and we're just separating the white. So I'll run my finger. Do it singly like this, because if you break one and the yolk does get into your whites, you're destroying 3-4 whites instead of just 1. So I do it 1 at a time. If any of the yolk gets into the white at all, the whites will not stiffen. The whites will not come into fluffy peaks when you whisk them. If a little bit of white is in with the yolk, that's okay. But the other way around, no. Now, so you have all your whites in, and this is where we whisk them until they form a fluffy white peak, or until you can tilt the bowl to the side or upside down without the whites coming out. We have the 4 whites of the eggs here and the 4 yolks in separate bowls. Our job now is to whisk this until it forms soft peaks. This can take some time, but don't be impatient. And your whites of your egg should be, I don't want to turn it upside down, but it's not falling around the bowl. And it's fluffy. Now we go to the chocolate that we have melting here. And it's slowly, just with a small bit of water, try not to touch the end of your bowl. Try to use the steam only to melt your chocolate. And as you can see, you can even see the dairy milk mixing with the dark. The 4 egg yolks are going to go into the chocolate when the chocolate is melted. So this is our 2 ingredients. It's just in 3 parts because we've divided the egg. So I'm just breaking that up and giving it a slight whisk. And I'll wait until the chocolate has melted. As you can see, that's nearly melted now. I can even turn it off and it will just melt in the little bit of steam. When this is fully melted, you slightly let it cool. You add the yellow of the yolks and give it a good mix together. The bowl might be hot, so just be careful lifting it out of the saucepan. Again, it's just a saucepan with some boiling water in it, slightly filled. So the chocolate is nice and smooth. This is where the spatula will be good so you don't waste any of your ingredients. These are little bowls that I'm going to fill it in. Again, you can double the mixture. I used 4 eggs and 100 grams. If you want to use 200 grams of chocolate, 8 eggs. 300 grams, again. So it's just you double the mixture depending on how many you want to feed. You can choose what containers you put it into. I just like these little ones. So I'm going to put the egg in here and mix it up. Don't let the egg sit in the chocolate because it'll start to cook. So you mix it as soon as you can. Don't worry if it gets a thick consistency, just stay mixing. Now I go back to get the whites. Let's give this a little wipe. So our whites are still fluffy. If at this stage you feel like they've flattened or they've gone a little bit soft, you can always just whip back 1 second. If you think they're gone dead, and just whip them up. This is the part that I fold the egg white in. So I'm taking a bit of egg white and I'm putting it into the chocolate. And this I'm doing in circle, lift up and underneath, lift and underneath. So you're constantly trying to create air bubbles within the chocolate mousse. It'll all get mixed up, just takes a little bit longer. If you find that the whites of the egg are not mixing well with the chocolate, you can always here go back to your whisk, even though it says in recipes not to, and use your electric whisk. I like to fold in the whites like this, and then if I find it's not mixed or blend to the consistency I want, I would give it a quick twirl. So I'm putting in the rest of the whites. And as you can see, the whites are very fluffy, just falling like little clouds into the chocolate. And again, try to lift air bubbles into it. Also, I would recommend using the fresher the egg, the better, because you'll get the 2 days, 3 days in the fridge with it as well, because the egg is fresher. And as you can see, there is the chocolate mousse. 2 ingredients. It should be runny like this. There's no lumps in it. Now if you find that there's lumps in it and you're not mixing the white in properly, you can electric beat it. This doesn't get bigger as it sets, so you bring it to where you want in your bowl. So we've got 6 chocolate mousses, and that was 100 grams of chocolate and 4 eggs. So if you had more guests, or you like chocolate mousse a lot, just double the mixture. I'll pop these into the fridge now. They say to leave it set for an hour or 2. You'll know, if you check in the fridge in 2 hours, you'll know when you move it that it'll be set, I have these little lids, so I'm just going to pop the lids onto them. Again, you do not have to cover them, you can pop them into the fridge the way they are. But my fridge is quite full with food, so just in case something falls in. When these are set, I actually serve them to the table in the little bowl, and I would shave some dark and dairy milk chocolate over the top and top with a raspberry. And if you want it with cream, blueberries, and it looks very elegant. There's pictures up on my Instagram page and on my Facebook page at Bernie's Takeout. So that is them all done, and I'll pop them into the fridge and we should be able to check them out in 2 hours.